Tune in to the Entrepreneur Life Show with your host, Rose of McDonald Bookkeeping Services and Shamara Walker of SWHR Consulting. We bring real issues and resources to business owners and entrepreneurs, local and celebrity guests sharing their journey into entrepreneurship. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, what's going on, everybody? It is Thursday.
Hello. Happy New Year's, everyone.
2021, thank goodness, 2020 is like gone. We know we're late. Sorry. Technology. So I am your host, and I'm Rose McDonald from McDonald Bookkeeping Services. And here we are with Entrepreneur Life. And I am here with my other host.
Hey, everyone. It's Shamara here with SWHR Consulting.
So we want to wish everybody a happy 2021. And we always want to start off by saying we appreciate all of our viewers and faithful followers. So if you are listening on one of your favorite podcast channels, although we can't see you, we appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Which way does that say? Yeah. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Some great guests, great celebrity guests too, and or follow us on social media. So what do we have going on today, Miss Shamara Walker?
Woo-hoo! We have a very, very special guest. We're so ecstatic that he decided to join us as a guest in our show today. We have Darren Henson. He is an actor, author, speaker, and choreographer who rise to fame began when he was recognized as one of the leading choreographers in the music industry, working with top recording artists including Jennifer Lopez, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Drew Hill, Prince, and many more. If you guys can remember the dance routine by NSYNC, Bye Bye Bye, that video earned him the MTV Video Music Award for Best Choreography. Can never say this word, guys. Following his success of Bye Bye Bye, he released a dance instruction video called Darren's Dance Grooves, and I can't wait to talk about this on the show. As Darren is a man of many talents, he began his journey as a television actor He began his journey in television, acting in a Showtime series called Soul Food. And because of that, he's earned himself many other roles in popular urban films like Stomp the Yard, Live Support, BET, Being Mary Jane, which is one of my favorite shows. And also he was he was nominated for the NAACP Image Outstanding Supporting Actor in drama series. Also, he has quite a few books out there. We're going to talk a little bit about those books as well. So, guys, welcome Darren Henson.
How are you? Yay! You're here. Very excited, very excited, very excited. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to just come on the show. We are just very, very happy and honored to have you here. Thank you. So appreciative.
I'm appreciative to be on with two intelligent, beautiful women. So that's great for me. It's good energy starting off the year.
Yes, so, we love the compliments. So thank you.
I want to, and normally people who watch us live know we don't really brush our hair all the, we don't look this great. But I wanted to start off by saying, so I think initially you started off in dance and choreography. Like, how did that get started? I mean, were you trained, or was it kind of training and just street because you are just good at what you do?
Well, I took the 6 train to everywhere I went. That was about the only training I had. No, I grew up in the Bronx, and I grew up in a household that had music, and I was in love with music and dance very, very early on. Um, Movies like That's Entertainment was out, but I grew up in the era where James Brown, the Jackson Five, the Commodores, the Four Tops,
Mhm.
um, were the performers. And there was always music around, and you had the Jackson Five. And I mean,
Mhm.
how could I not fall in love with dance? And so that transcended into high school. I met my first manager, which is Scott Sterling. The rest of the world knows him as DJ Scott LaRock, the creator of Boogie Down Productions. We,
Yeah.
yeah, we toured Vermont for a few years. And then when I graduated high school, I moved to Japan and performed with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus for 2 years.
What?
Wow.
And that's really how it started. And I came back. When I came back, I joined Club MTV with Downtown Julie Brown,
Oh,
and I was on Club MTV for a few years. And then right after that, I was discovered by a director named Lionel Martin, who was really doing all of the videos, the rap and R&B videos at that time with Classic Concept Productions. And he gave me a chance on my first video, which was Don Newkirk, and it was a video called "Sweat You," and he was signed to Def Jam. The second video I did was "Color Me Bad, Sex You Up." Then after that, I did SWV. After that, I was doing CNC Music Factory, Things That Make You Go Home, and
mhm.
ultimately in 1995, I got to work with Michael Jackson for a whole year, and then in 1996, I got to work with Prince. So it was, you know,
What was that like to work with legends? Oh my gosh. Tell us about
you,
it.
to be interesting, I was thinking about it yesterday. I was watching Sign of the Times with Prince yesterday, and one of the things that I thought about was how blessed I am to be a person who literally lived his dreams. These were dreams, to work with these talented men in the capacity of a partnership. And my partnership was their music, my choreography, and dance. And
Mhm.
so to work with Michael Jackson literally was I still can't describe it all these years later the way it actually felt, but I can tell you this: I didn't talk to people for hours after because I was in such awe, meaning I had realized that my dreams had come true. And I was just in awe. I was in Hungary. I was in Budapest when I was
Mhm.
working with him on the history video. And it was at that time that I actually got to meet him face to face, eye to eye, hand to hand. And I can tell you the energy still resonates with me today. And with Prince, it was the same, but it was different. I learned so much from him. One time I was working on a video called Face Down
Mhm.
for him, and he asked me to change it at like two o'clock in the morning. And it took me till about 5 o'clock in the morning to change it. And he came to see the choreography of what I had done. And I said, "Do you like this better?" And he goes, "It's not better. It's just different." And I thought, wow, it's just different. We as people always want to compare, better or worse. No, it's just different. And I learned that from him. I performed on stages with him, I've traveled with him. And so for me, it set a precedent in my life about excellence, about honor, about work, about perfection, about craft.
Mhm.
And, it's I realize that I have everything that I need to become successful. And mixed with faith and actions, I can manifest anything.
Right.
So, did you feel intimidated at all? Like, because you've worked with like really heavy hitters. I don't know. I
It's just
felt
such an honor to have you on our show. I think that's what what we're trying to say. Just thank you again for being here.
I
you know,
appreciate you. I'm very, very humbled that you asked me to come on. You could have asked anybody to join you, and so I'm thankful that you asked me to come on. I just want to share with you. That's all.
and so being that you work with Michael Jackson and Prince, I don't know. I'm not a celebrity, but were you like nervous or just like, wow, out of me, there's so many choreographers out there, you
Right.
know? I mean, and then to work with them, were you nervous? Were you uncomfortable, or, like meeting Oprah?
Consistently, absolutely. And I was nervous because I, it was I was in the presence of gods. I was in the
Right.
presence of masters, and when you're in that situation, you want to do everything right, but it's no, that's not how it is. It's like they called me because of what I did. I remember one time we were in a rehearsal for a song called Dangerous. We were in Alley Cat Studios, and Michael Jackson stopped the entire rehearsal because he saw something that I was doing. And he asked me to teach it to him. And I'll never forget that moment. And I just had to realize that I'm more than enough. I'm more than enough. And I deserved the position that I held. And so once I got around that, the nervousness kind of passed, and I turned into a badass, meaning it was about the work, it was about the creation, it was about the flow. And I wasn't so focused on me anymore, which is what happens when people are nervous. They're focused on themselves. But when
Yeah.
you're focused on the work, then you can have some amazing outcomes.
So how did you transition from dancing and choreography to acting? I mean, was that just accidental? Because I know drum. I remember Drumline, and so I'm just
You mean
wondering.
Stomp the Yard?
Yes, off the
Stop.
art. I'm sorry. I like Nick
I was
Cannon
like, I
too.
love Drumline too. I think Nick Cannon was great in that.
So how did
Wait,
that?
wait, 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 Rose, before you go into this question, because you're transitioning into his acting, I have to tell you that I grew up on Darren's dance grooves.
She keeps talking about that, by the way.
And I was just learning all of the dances, and it was just so amazing. So just to have you here on the show for me is just nostalgic, because again, I was growing up and just learning how to dance through your instructional video. So I'll let you go on now.
I love that. I love that so much. Grazie, 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 grazie. I love that. It's it was a labor of love for me, and there's a story with that too, and I'll tell you what that story is in a second, because it actually starts off with my transition from dance to acting. So in
Okay.
1999, I choreographed for Jordan Knight, and I did a song for him called "Give It to You." Now, subsequently, Jordan Knight was a member of the New Kids on the Block, who I had also choreographed for some years before.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love this video because what I redid a Grease. So the ending of the movie Grease, I redid it, and you got "Give It to You." The director Darren Grant directed it, and it was just a kick-ass video. And so we were nominated for an MTV Music Award for Best Dance Video, but we lost to Ricky Martin for Vida Loca.
Uh-huh.
Great video and great song to lose to. If you're gonna lose to anybody, lose to Ricky Martin and Vida Loca.
That was a good song. That was a good
Yeah.
song.
So, but I was also very disappointed, very upset, because I was going after that MTV Music Award, and I have to shout out Anthony Thomas, who choreographed Rhythm Nation, who was a street dancer, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to represent for street dancers all over the world. And so I was disappointed. So I was frustrated, to be honest. And I was like, man, I'm done with this. I've worked with Michael Jackson, Prince, and everybody, you
Yeah.
know, under them. I'm done. So literally 3 months later, I went to my acting agent, Tony Selznick, and my choreography agent,
That was a
and
good song. That was a good song.
asked him to set me up with an acting agent. And like all acting agents, they didn't take me seriously. They met me for about 10 minutes and said, "We'll keep your headshot."
Yeah.
And then I
Wow.
left and went back to New York. And then a friend of mine, Candice Koch, shout out to Candice, I love her very much, because she's really the one that kind of started me off, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
She told me about an open call audition for a movie called Save the Last Dance, which
Ah,
ultimately we
Yes.
saw Julia Stiles and the other guy, and Sean Patrick Thomas. We're friends today. It's great. And so I went to this open call, and they asked me if I had an agent, and I lied. I said yes. wasn't true. And AV Kaufman, if you know AV Kaufman, she's one of the biggest casting directors in the industry, as well as one of the biggest producers for film now. And she goes, "Oh, I know those guys," and got on the phone and called them. Oh, and so they told her, put them on the phone, and they said, "We don't know if you know who you're with, but this is one of the biggest casting directors in the business, and if she likes you, she's gonna screen test you. That means you're gonna have to sign with us." And so I was playing it off on the other side of the phone. I was like, "Great to talk to you again. I'm looking forward to see you." And she received the email that I got, and I handed it back to her. Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, AV Kaufman was screen testing me for Save the Last Dance. And so I signed with the agency. That's how I got my first agent.
Wow, that's a good story.
True story.
Did
And
you have to take
so,
acting classes? Did you ever take acting classes?
No.
Wow, really?
so this is where the story continues. You ready? So about a month after that, I didn't get Save the Last Dance, but about a month, well, during Save the Last Dance auditions, it was about a 2 week period. They said, "Look, while you're out here in LA," because I was from New York, "why don't we send you in for this audition for this TV show?" I was like, "Great." The TV show was Soul Food.
Oh, wow.
And I booked the role of Lem Van Adams. I didn't get Save the Last Dance, but I got one of the biggest TV series ever known. And
Right.
so we went to Toronto. So we're filming. And of course, I had been choreographing before that time, and I was still heavy into dance. And
Uh-huh.
so I started to do what I considered to be a promo, which was Darren's Dance Grooves. And I pitched the idea for about a year, and I got told no, 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 no. But I didn't care. And I kept pushing it. And one day I spoke to this attorney who knew of this company, and he said, "Let me try them." And it was a match made in heaven. And 5 million copies later, and it became a world-renowned DVD, and that's how that happened.
That's a
Bye,
great,
bye, bye.
that's a great story. Okay.
Ain't no lie. Bye, bye, bye. Then, so this is the interesting thing. That same year, I started doing Soul Food, right?
Yes, yes.
That June, I choreographed Bye Bye Bye. That September in 2000, I won the MTV Music Award. So there's something about following your dreams. There's something about path of least resistance, and there's something about planting seeds and being consistent, even when other people say no.
Yep. Yep. For every no, there's a possible yes around the corner.
For every no, you're closer to your yes. That is correct.
Closer, closer, and closer.
So, since you've never taken acting classes,
Well, I have now. I didn't then.
okay.
Soul Food was my acting class. Soul Food was my acting class. But I started taking classes in probably around 2008, and I worked with a private coach named Barry Papick, because I did a movie called The Express where I played Jim Brown. And The Express was about Ernie Davis, the first man of color to ever win a Heisman Trophy. And Chadwick Boseman was in that film, and he played Floyd Little, who just unfortunately just passed away. So we got two of our heroes who just made their transitions: Chadwick, who played Floyd, and Floyd, who just passed away as well. But I started working with Barry Papick for that film. So yes, I do take acting classes now.
Well, you did well. You did really well without your acting classes, okay?
So 13 years without acting classes, I felt I did well.
Because I love, I don't know, I can't say I don't enjoy you in everything, but is there any kind of character or role that you haven't played that you'd like to play? I mean, I like the kind of the roles where you play kind of the bad guy, you know.
It's interesting because when people meet me, they go, "You're nothing like your characters at all." And I that's a lot of fun, because when people get to meet Darren Henson, the spirit, Darren Henson, the energy, Darren Henson, the entrepreneur, Darren Henson, the speaker, the lecturer,
Yeah.
Darren Henson, the alchemist, they go, wow, you're nothing like Grant and Stomp the Yard. Wow, you're nothing, like this character. And so it's fun going from characters like Lem to playing real life heroes like Jim Brown to characters like, Robert in Black Coffee,
Yeah.
to Grant in Stomp the Yard, who was really an antagonist, to like the lead characters that I'm playing today in The Family Business of
Oh,
Orlando, who's a boss, and then head detective, on Double Cross. So it's a lot of fun to become these guys. And I did one superhero movie before called Tekken, which was a martial arts fight film, and I'm really looking forward to diving back with haste back into the or should I say forward into the Marvel world, and putting on a superhero costume.
well, I want to know how the author came into play, because you seem like you are easily to be able to transition from one genre to another.
Ain't
And so,
nothing to it but to do it.
I mean, how
He
did
said
writing?
he's a man of many talents, Rose.
I mean, the one about the one about being pregnant. So,
Pregnant with thought. Well, my first book was written because I was going through a lot in my life. I have children who are older now and graduated college, and so I had my first son at 27 years old, and I went through a lot. They don't call it growing pains for nothing. And being this young guy who came into a lot of money very early on through Darren's Dance Grooves, through Soul Food, it was just a lot of money that just happened. And so for me, it was about learning how to cope with having children, being famous, knowing what to do with money. So with Intimate Thoughts in the Spirit of Change, it's really historical events that happened in my life from childhood all the way up to adulthood. And it's called Intimate Thoughts because they were my intimate thoughts, but the spirit of change is what we must need, because come as you are, but you can't stay as you are. And so that was my first book, which was nominated for an Image Award. And then my second book is called Ain't That the Truth? Acknowledge, Admit, and Invite Truth into Your Life. And that was a book of positive affirmations. The third book is called Pregnant with Thought. And that book is about having your ideas and knowing that you have to birth them, meaning putting action behind the thoughts, which equal the manifestation. And then the last book is called Life's Teachable Moments, because all of that encompasses what we've gone through. You go through it so you can grow through it, and ultimately you can glow through it. And so all of my
Love that.
books, yeah, have a specific space and place when it comes to levels of consciousness and learning from your past so you can move forward into your future with ease.
so how had you always known you wanted to write, or was this just something that you just got to, like, a lot of people come to that self-discovery moment when they've gone
Yeah,
through
it came out of positive frustration. I was going through a lot, and to be honest, I was writing it to myself. It was like a note to self. But then I had met so many people over the years who needed assistance. And I said, I'm going to put out my book because maybe reading about what happened to me, people won't feel alone.
Right.
Hold on, guys, he cut out.
And-
So, hey, he's there. There he is.
Okay.
So how personal are you in your book? I mean, it's very transparent, can you say? I mean, sometimes, do you not leave anything to the imagination? Hold on, guys, he's froze. So stay where you are. So we're going to freeze. You froze, so we froze with you. So hold on, guys, he's still there. We just got to get his so he can hear us. So if you are tuning in and listening, we have Darren Hinson on our show today. So excited. Can you hear us, Darren? I think he's trying to get, he's technical difficulty. So hold there, stay tight. Just a second. He gets back onto the interview. And so, which he's done some amazing things for everybody who's watching. And he has some great books out. So definitely you want to connect and follow him. We have his webpage up on the screen so we can talk more about what he has going on in his entrepreneur journey, his author, his speaking engagements, just very, extremely amazing. So are you there? Can you hear me? We can't hear you. The sound. Hi,
Yeah,
Celeste.
we can see, but we can't hear him.
One sec, guys. He'll be right back. So thanks everybody for tuning in. You just lost a little bit
I was going to say the same thing. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you guys for listening in today.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rose.
So sorry we're a little bit late, technical difficulties. But of course, as you see, we have Darren Hinson on the line. Really great actor. He's has so much going on, entrepreneur. Just to get a little bit about what he does in his acting career. And of course, a speaker, an author. Anyway, so you can just see him. There he is. You can see him in just about everything. So he should be popping on just a sec. There he is. He's back. Woo! There he is. Okay.
Hopefully his sound is back.
Yeah, so we just can't hear the sound. So hold on, guys, just a second. Let me let him know we can't hear. So I'll show you a little bit about what he has going on right now. And so till we get the sound back. So hang tight, you guys, so you can hear him on this show.
Are you messaging him?
Yeah.
Okay, great. As you guys can see, he's done so many great things.
Yeah.
Nominated. Yes. He's been nominated for so many different acting roles. He's done so many music things in terms of choreography. Can't say that word. If you know him growing up like I did, he created Darren's dance grooves. So
yep, we can hear
we're
him.
just so excited to have him on the show.
Awesome. I'm back.
Okay, good.
I apologize about that, ladies.
We were just talking about how great you are.
I appreciate that. I apologize about that, everyone.
Oh, it happens sometimes, all the time. So I'm really excited though about your writing, your speaking. I mean, so where did that kind of stem from? Like now you're getting out in public and doing speaking engagements, your volunteerism. I mean, that is just great for anything or the community. But
well, I'm gonna keep it 100 with everybody. There's something to say about people who you got to be careful of the company that you keep. And when you're looking to grow, you can't surround yourself by people who aren't willing to go the extra mile. You can't surround yourself by people who aren't willing to go where you're willing to go, in the capacity that you're willing to go. And if you surround yourself by them, and things happen energetically, then you can't blame anybody else. So this is really a basic conversation about knowing who you are, what you are, and knowing what you came here to do and how you want to show up in the world, and not using excuses or not blaming other people for what you're not doing that you should be doing. Mm-hmm. And so, everybody listening, hopefully this resonates with you. Don't blame other people. Just make the changes that you need to make for yourself in order to get what you need to do done so you can show up in the world the way that you choose to. Really important. Don't procrastinate. Don't waste time. If you waste time, always understand time wins. You might wait, time won't.
Right.
What do you think
So
about
would you say that that is what, continue to drive you, moving forward with your career and, in terms of entrepreneurship, because you're doing so much more than just acting and, dancing. You're author of a book, you're doing speaking engagement. So what is it that kind of drives you to continue to move forward?
I truly believe that's why I showed up in the world. Honestly, I truly believe that's why I'm on earth, to make a difference. I truly believe that I'm a voice for good. I truly believe that I'm here to inspire people. And so, unless I'm doing that work, I don't feel like I'm any good or any use to anyone. Then, for me, I have to be purposeful. I have to be directed. I have to be, like Paulo Coelho in The Alchemist says, I have to be creating my own personal legend. When you read the book Think and Grow Rich, like by Napoleon Hill, he says, have definite aim and purpose, have a direction. And even if you need to be your own bow and arrow, pull yourself back until you hit the target. And so for me, that's what my trajectory is about. That's what I believe the diaspora that I came from is about. It's about making things happen, not waiting for them to happen.
Love
And
that.
so I lend my voice to whomever would use it, to go, grow and glow. Simply.
what do you think about when people talk about leaving a legacy? Because there's people who intentionally try to leave a legacy, which would be maybe their business, they're handed down, or some it just because of their volunteerism and what they do for the community, and then some it's just they don't even realize their legacy is a negative one.
Well, it's really interesting that you asked that, because a person's legacy is always going to be associated to what other people say. Meaning,
Right.
Yeah.
if someone wants to, you look at a guy like Bill Cosby, you know, all the great things that he's done. I mean, just so much wonderful things he's done for the Black diaspora and other people in terms of education. But the only thing that people will talk about is his off-camera antics
Mm-hmm.
of,
Right.
what could have or could not have happened. I don't know, and I don't really care about a person's private life. I really don't care. Who you sleep with and how you sleep with them, that's your business.
Mm-hmm.
But the good that you do in the world. Now, I'm not saying that if he did that, that's good. No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, how can we forget the legacy of good that he's done,
Right.
and how he assisted other people to see themselves when nobody else was showing ourselves the way he showed us, as a doctor, right? As young people
Right.
who aspired to go to college and make a difference, people who knew how to communicate and talk things out, people who were guided by education and who were studious. How can we forget that because of something that happened, that other people are saying? Like, we can't forget what he's done. And so that, to me, that goes along with the other aspect of legacy. It's like, don't leave it up to other people to write about you.
Yeah.
Create your legacy, write your obituary while you live. Meaning, give them something to write about. When I'm out of here
Right.
physically, because I'm never going anywhere, because energy doesn't die.
Right.
Um,
Your spirit lives on.
that's right. I mean, you think about Dr. Martin Luther King, you think about Sojourner Truth, you think about Malcolm X, you think about Marcus Garvey, they're still here. You think about Elijah Muhammad, they're still here. I think about Gregory Hines, who was the
Right.
first person to stand up and clap for me when I was on Broadway. He's still here. They're still here. The work that you do when other people pick it up and continue it, you're still here. You're still alive. The work continues. The marathon continues. Soul Food is forever. Darren's Dance Grooves is
Yeah.
forever. Stomp the
Yeah.
Yard is
Forever.
forever. It's forever. The good that I do for people, the people that I teach that learn and pick up what I teach, even the people that don't like me, even the people that talked about me, even the people that didn't believe in me, doesn't matter. They still see me. I show up on your television set. I show up in the movie theaters. I'm a reminder, right? Even people recently have been calling me about Bitcoin when I was telling them to buy it when it was
Ah,
$1,000 a coin.
mhm.
Bitcoin's $40,000 today. I ring in your head because that's how Most High God made me. I came to create change. Whether you accept it or not, it's true. I'm a reminder. I'm a guide. I know who I am.
So what do you say to people that, are essentially want to give and they want to share themselves with the world, but it's just such a challenge because again, there is those people that make them feel doubtful about themselves and insecure about themselves. And I mean, I know you spoke on just, surrounding yourself with people that are going to help move you forward, but how do you help someone that may do that, but still may feel that way about themselves since they've been hearing it so much?
I don't think you can help anyone. I think you can only assist them. People have to help themselves,
Yeah.
right? If you're waiting for a job to fall out of the sky, or if you're waiting to get muscles, or if you're waiting to get healthy just by sitting around waiting, it's not going to happen. God helps those who help themselves.
To
And
themselves.
so you can
Yes.
only assist people. Try to pull somebody up over a wall and they don't give you that resistance so you can pull. They're going to pull you over the wall with them back where they are. No,
Right.
people have to put as much energy as you're giving them in order to move to a different space and place. People have to help themselves. You can only assist them. But what I say to that is, if anybody reads scripture, remember this. It says, as above, so shall it be below. What it's talking about is the law. It's talking about the law of correspondence, but you can never forget the law of polarity. Everything has an opposite. Where there's light, there's dark. Where there's good, there's bad. That's relative. Where there's
Right.
in, there's an out. Where there's a high, there's a low. Where there's a big, there's a small. Where there's a like, there's a dislike. Where there's agreeable, there's a disagreeable. Don't ever think that you're going to be able to get everybody to agree with you. Know that you're already validated
Right.
by the Most High and you don't need anybody else's approval. The teacher shows up when the student is ready. Don't push and don't pull. When people want the information, they'll find
Would
you
you say
because
you're
they'll
a
attract
biblical
you.
person? Would you say you're a biblical person or a spiritual person,
I'm
or both?
I'm I'm more spirit than physical. But if you're looking at me through physical eyes, then that's all you see. That means you haven't elevated yet. And I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but you're more energy than physical.
Hmm.
We all
So now,
are.
now this is something
True.
that this question is related to your profession. So a lot of people feel that when you're in the entertainment industry, whether you're an actor, whether you're a musician, a singer, that you are liable to the public morally. And so everything you do, like you almost like you have to be a saint. And people just don't see it as a career or as a job, like as if they shouldn't have a past. And I see that the media, they can hype you up and you're the best thing ever, but then as soon as they don't like something, they want to. I mean, they want to make sure that you know it's like you don't exist anymore. Do you think
Well, that's
that
cynical.
Temporarily.
And
that
it's cynical and it's incorrect and it's egotistical. And when you're dealing with the ego, you can get in a lot of trouble. If a person says you should be responsible for what you do, why? Because you paid attention to it and maybe it didn't work out for you, or I did something that you feel is disagreeable with your spirit, or you feel like I should do that. No, that's what you would do. In other words, I don't feel, I understand and I overstand, but I understand what people mean. I know what their intention is, but their intention is governed by their belief system. But is your belief system correct? So in other words, the things that we see, and I'll show you a quick example, and I think this will make sense to most people. Most people have watched some form of action film. If you've watched any action film, you've seen someone get shot. You have.
Mhm.
You've seen somebody die on camera, a character.
Mhm.
But the day, God rest his soul, that we saw George be killed, that affected us because that wasn't a television movie. That
Right,
wasn't a TV series. That was in
Right.
time, real life. And we saw it happen. And guess what? We could do nothing about it.
right,
And so it affected us. So what happens in our society, depending on how we're trained subconsciously, it gets stored in us. And so we start to develop opinions, but are the opinions true? Everybody's
Right.
looking at the news yesterday and, they stormed the Capitol and people are complaining that people who don't look like me um, got a pass. Well, what I have to say about that is why are you surprised? 52 years
right,
ago, we couldn't eat in the same restaurants or use the same bathroom. I'm not surprised. Now, I'm not saying that's something that I harbor on. I just don't waste time talking about it because I know the idea of integration is still very, very new in this
Right.
country, 52 years old. So I don't waste time thinking about the what whys. And I don't force people to change their way of thinking. I acknowledge where they are. And if it's combative, I just get out of the way. You don't stand in front of a moving car when it's coming down the hill, right?
right.
But if you can stop the moving car from going down the hill, that's how you can control the momentum. In other words, I don't tune into the negative at all because it can't help you anyway.
I
I
like that.
can.
It doesn't
So
matter
do you feel,
what kind of negative.
so being in the industry this long, again, in acting and of course, just overall, everything that you're doing, do you feel that you've changed who you are at any point just to be able to appease, like she mentioned, like in the media, or appease the business consultant that wants you to do this particular thing, or you've always kind of been the same person the entire time?
Well, I don't think I'm the same person as I used to be. And there were levels of me that changed. And it probably started when I was on Soul Food. Um, but my consciousness has changed more than anything. My level of consciousness has grown. Whereas, being, you know, people say, Darren, you should be pro-black. So does pro-black mean anti-white? I don't agree with that. I don't have to
Right.
hate somebody else to love myself. It
Right.
means I'm aware enough of Darren DeWitt Henson that I can get along with anybody, like anybody. Because to me, it's levels of consciousness. If there are people, and I've met people who were bigots and who were, supremacists, and I actually have great relationships with them because we have one-on-one conversations where their consciousness grew after discussions because they were
Mm.
just taught. You can look at two babies and they don't care what color they are. They're focusing on energy. You look at puppies. Puppies are like little babies and they acknowledge it, right? So gorillas, remember the gorilla when the baby fell behind the gate, it just picked it up and took it like it was a baby because it knew, it was
Right.
conscious that it was a baby and not an adult human that may try to hurt it. So it's just about levels of consciousness. And as soon as we can wrap around that and stop looking at the physical and deal with our conscious perspective, then we'll grow. And so that's where I am as an individual. I'm again, I deal with energy. I deal with content of character. I deal with people's desire to grow. And I operate from there. I believe again, come as you are, but you can't stay as you are. And I don't feel responsible for what other people do. I try to hold myself to a standard, a respectable, honorable standard. Have I done things in my past that were wrong? Have I upset people? Absolutely. Am I perfect? No, I'm not. But do I intentionally work on myself daily? Absolutely.
Do you feel that now that you, because you your books seem to be very where it's a learning, I guess, kind of like not coaching, um, I because it would be so transparent as you described about yourself, a learning, something you can learn from of ever doing workshops. You sound like you
Yes, I mean, I
do that.
lecture all over the country. That's important to me. And again, that's how I want to show up in the world. It's really important to me. I'm a natural teacher. And so when I realized who I was, who I am, and what I came here to do, I started to speak more. I mean, I speak for huge companies. I lecture. I spoke at a lot of HBCUs. Spoke at different colleges. And I still people hire me all the time to speak on behalf of their particular corporations or on a particular business. And so, I'd like to think that I'm very, very good at it because, I know that we are all only separated by 6 human needs. And it's a fact. We are literally separated by 6 human needs, but we all put each human need in a different category. The person who is looking for certainty doesn't operate the same as a person who is operating through uncertainty,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
those are two different things, but they're both human needs. One person wants variety and the other person wants certainty, right? There's another person who wants contribution. All they want to do is give, give, give. But I believe if you just give, 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 and you don't fill yourself up, then
Yeah.
you're
You
not going
left
to have
with
anything to
empty.
give.
Yep.
Right, right.
So I don't believe it's better to give than it is to receive. I think they're both equal because when you give, you should be open to receiving so you can use what you receive to give more. They're both the same, just different levels of the pole.
Would you want your children?
Can you list those 6 things for our viewers and just
Say
explain
it
a little
again,
bit of?
Smith.
Can you list those 6 human? What did you mention?
The six human needs:
Yeah.
Yes.
contribution, right? Connection, love, certainty, uncertainty. What do you think the other two are?
Money, maybe. Finance.
No, not money.
Connection
Connection. Okay, yeah, yeah.
and growth, right? So
Okay.
you have people who want to know everything, that's certainty. Other
Hmm.
people who love variety, that's uncertainty. Connectivity, right?
Hmm.
Growth. When you don't feel like you're growing, you feel like you're dying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get stuck. You get stuck in one place.
And
Yeah.
contribution. We love feeling that we're contributing to something. We love feeling connected. When a baby is born, if it doesn't get held immediately for a long period of time, the baby can die because it needs touch. That's why it's not natural. Jails are not natural
Yeah.
because we need touch. We need connectivity,
Right.
right? So that's a different class. I tell anybody who may be listening right now, if you want to hire me, I'm absolutely hireable. I'm not just a pretty face on a television screen. But there's really a course that I teach in communication, which is really important because a lot of times people don't know how to communicate because they're stuck in patterns.
Would you want your children to be, obviously I'm not in the industry, but it seems like I'm in my 50s. I'm over 50. I know I look 25, but has
I
changed.
love it.
Would you want your children? Would you want them to venture into the entertainment industry? Just it seems so challenging. It seems like you can get drowned in it and you get lost.
I never tell my children what to do. And the reason that I don't do that is because my dad wasn't around when I was a child. I developed a relationship with my dad at 27 years old.
Mhm.
people always complain about parents being absent from their lives. I don't think my father was absent from my life. He just wasn't in my way. He didn't get in my way so I could do what I really wanted to do. You see,
That's a good
things
way to
that
put
That's
it.
a good
happen,
way to look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
things that happen only are based upon the meaning that you give it. So if you give it a different meaning, you can empower yourself or disempower yourself. And so I just tell my children, study that thing that you say that you love so much. Study it. Study it like it's oxygen, right? You always want to take a deep breath, right? So study what you love. Do what you love. Like your life depended on it. Then you'll always find success. Because that's to me what it's about. Programs, thoughts, actions, results. The way your mind is programmed is how you think. How you think is how you act. And how you act will determine the result that shows up in your life.
Do they ever watch any of your works, or you would not want them to see you in some of the things you've done, like some of the shows? Does it interest them?
It was, I mean, I've done some racy sex scenes clearly when they were younger, but they were protected from that. Um, they were protected from watching those shows until they were old enough to understand what acting is about. One of my
Right.
sons is a director.
Well,
So he went the Broadway route, and he directs and manages stage shows. One of my other sons loves music, so he's really heavy and has recorded his own music into producing. My other son is figuring out in what way he wants to produce music. So and my daughter is just stunning. She's a model, and so she's the one that I'm really concerned about because she's 17 years old, and she looks like a Victoria's Secret model, and so because the wolves that are out there, you know, I just we always want to make sure that she's clear about who she is and how she should show up, and never desire to look for someone else to validate her. But she knows that she's already validated by the Most High, so she needs no one's approval. So she can show up in the world and be a woman of color and be strong and be feminine and be okay with that.
so getting back
Do you
to
feel like that those are some of the things that you've instilled in all of your children?
Please ask again.
So based on what you just said, you say that you worry a little bit about her? Do you feel that some of the things that you've mentioned before wasn't instilled in them as they were growing up, and you're now trying to figure out if you kind of did a good job or not, or do you feel like she's just still trying to figure out who she is, even after
No, I
everything
think
that
it's
you've
I
taught
think it's natural for a father. I mean, even when you've done as much as you can, you don't want to see, you know, I don't care if it was the nicest young man that showed up at the door. I'm probably gonna act like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence and Bad Boys 2 when they show up, you know, because that's your daughter. So it's like you don't. It doesn't matter who it is. It's your daughter. You know what I mean? And that's you as a male. It's just what happens, as a man.
now getting back to some of your books, would you say that who would you recommend for as far as age group? If they wanted to go ahead, and of course, all you are listening for the people who can't see us and are listening on the podcast, of course, check us out live. Go to the website, and you can see where you can find Darren Hinton and actually, pick up a few of his great writes. But what would you say the age category would be, or does it matter? Like,
Oh, well, shoot. I mean, it's literally from 13 to eternity, and the reason
oh,
that I say that is because it doesn't matter how old you are. One of the muscles that never has to stop growing is your mind, and you should read every day. And I'm talking about more than Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You should exercise your mind every day. The Intimate Thoughts book is poetically written, and it's a very powerful book. you know to me, it's about, I've explained what each book is about, but right now, and I don't know why, but people are buying Intimate Thoughts like crazy right now. Um, so, we're happy to keep shipping them, Intimate Thoughts in the Spirit of Change. And I think because, so many people have gone through things, and there's some tragedy in the book. And so I think, when I talked about certain things that I went to that weren't always, fun for me,
Mhm.
breakups, hardships in life that I had gone through, my dad not being around, um, you know, um, hurt from broken loves, to healing, to self-awareness. It's all in Intimate Thoughts in the Spirit of Change. And I mean, I've gone on so far. I've got to show you this. I've got a line of T-shirts called God's Billboard T-shirts. This shirt says, "I'm already validated by the Most High. I don't need your approval." Right? One of my other T-shirts says, "I am more than enough, and I approve this message." And the other shirt
I
says,
love it.
it's I created that. The website, which you can get the books, and the T-shirts on, is God's, Gods, God's Billboard T-shirts.com. And it's really become a movement because they're affirmations, they're self-awareness T-shirts. God's Billboard T-shirts.com. And I wish I could show you how many people are purchasing these shirts. We're so thankful and we're so happy that we've gotten such great support. And I feel so good about it because it's assisting people, to feel good about themselves again, no matter what's
Themselves.
going
Yeah.
on around them. So I'm really, really
It's
thankful
so
for that.
easy.
And
It's so easy to enter into a negative space with everything that's going around. So having positive affirmations is so important. I'm a big person of, on that. I would have them on my mirror when I wake up in the morning. I'm looking at it. And just speaking things into existence is so important to me, and manifestation as well. So
yes,
everything that you've talked about just really hit home for me in regards to just my dreams and where I want to go and finding my voice and growing that voice, and not letting other people overshadow that. So really good stuff.
thank you. Well, faith coupled with action equals manifestation. Thoughts become things because thoughts are energy. It's pure energy.
Right.
And so, I tell people, if I could say anything to them, pay attention to what you feel, because the universe responds to what you feel, not what you say, what you feel. Because you could say, I'm happy all day long. If you don't feel happy, and see, feeling is the vibratory frequency that we're looking for. And, we can utilize that. People say it's easy to
Oh,
fall into the negative, but it's also just as easy to drop into the positive as well. So hopefully you get tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to that mindset as well. Speak life, speak energy, speak strength, speak clarity, speak oneness, speak longevity, speak health. And so hopefully today's podcast is helping you do that. And if I can help you in any other way, like I said, just reach out to me on God's Billboard, t-shirts.com, or my Instagram is I am Darren D. Henson, with the blue check, because there's a lot of copycats out there. I don't know why they want to be me, but they're out there. But I just say, to people, love yourself to life, and don't look for somebody to fix you, because that's your job to fix yourself.
Right.
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your taking the time out for us, and because we do appreciate you and love your work. And for those who are listening, and if you have not, you're not watching, you can go to the website or to our YouTube channel. And we do have the website, God Billboard T-shirts, up so you can see and scan through and make a purchase. And of course, just check out the book. And so we're very happy to have you here. To all of our listeners, we really appreciate you for taking the time out with us today.
I love
Thank
this
you.
interview, and I thank you again
You have such
for giving me
beautiful
a voice.
energy. I can feel your energy over this podcast. So
Thank you so much. I truly mean that. And may you continue to go, grow, and glow and expand in the direction that you desire. May health always find you, and may you always find health as oneness. God bless you all.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Thanks for being on the show.
you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Watch our show on the replay. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.